City volunteers distribute 2,000 bags of rice to families in need on Luzon Island. We meet a nurse who has accompanied patients throughout their quarantine and treatment. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. Luzon Island in the Philippines has been under lockdown for nearly 2 months, affecting the livelihoods of many impoverished people. Tzu Chi Philippines Chapter started to distribute rice to various regions since early April. Nearly a month later, volunteers went there again to distribute 2,000 bags of rice.
The rice was soaked in water with a little salt. This is the only meal of the day for Edmund, a resident of Barangay Tatalong.
I eat like this every day because there's no other food at home. It's already very good for me to have something in my stomach.
Our family of 3 lived a frugal life. Even so, there was only a bucket of white rice, which was about to be finished at home.
Jeepney driver.
Edmund was originally a jeepney driver, but because of the city lockdown, he has no income and has no money to buy food. We want to provide them with rice and vegetables so that they can eat 3 meals a day.
Sasama ka sa amin, dyan sa may palengke, na yung lulutuin na ngayon. Bali, kami na po yung magbayad, basta puro gulay po yung kukunin nyo.
Food is no longer difficult to swallow because of monotony. Yet, this is not the only family that requires Tzu Chi's help. Jinky's husband, who is a tricycle driver, had no passengers to carry because of the epidemic. Hence, the family has difficulty buying food. At this moment, volunteers offered a helping hand.
300 na lang po. Salamat nanay, nag-discount ka ng 80 pesos po.
I also want to contribute my part. Even though I'm a vegetable vendor, I'm willing to earn less provided that I can help them.
In the past, I could not afford to buy so many vegetables. Today, because of Tzu Chi's assistance, I can buy a lot.
Volunteers visited impoverished families and also hosted a distribution of 25 kilograms bags of rice to help 2,000 households during this difficult time.
Indonesian city volunteers cooperated with the local government to distribute rice and instant noodles in Tebing Tinggi. Meanwhile, in Kapuk Village, many people were also affected by the epidemic. City volunteers distributed 100 daily supplies to help residents.
Living a hard life, this assistance helps these women feel a bit of relief. This family originally lived on the income of the husband, who is a motorcycle driver. Due to the epidemic, his income was greatly reduced.
Because of this epidemic, fewer passengers needed to be transported. Sometimes he can't even make any money. Yesterday, he only earned about $2.
Tzu Chi volunteers and Indonesian military force distribute 100 packages of daily necessities, each containing rice, cooking oil, sugar, and Jinshi instant noodles.
I'm very happy to get these supplies because rice is very expensive now.
The epidemic has greatly affected earnings of residents. The distribution can alleviate some of their burden.
This kind of love also arrived in Tebing Tinggi, where 1,500 packages of rice and instant noodles were handed over by Tzu Chi volunteers to the local police station and the military headquarters for distribution.
We have received supplies from Tzu Chi, including 1,000 packages of rice and instant noodles, which will be distributed to local residents in need.
Sebanyak 1,000 paket.
Also, these 500 packages of supplies are to be given to those families who have not yet received government assistance.
Residents did not have to worry about food temporarily and could regain their peace of mind.
Due to the epidemic, many Myanmar people were restricted at home. This year, the Buddha Day ceremony was hosted through connections online, so global city volunteers can all pray together.
A day before the Buddha Day ceremony, Dharma masters in the temple organized the flowers and set up the stage. Due to the epidemic and the restriction order from Myanmar government, the ritual was kept simple.
In the past, Tzu Chi volunteers set up the venue and we came to participate. This year was the first time we handled it ourselves. We weren't so familiar with the setup of the stage. All we hope is for everyone to feel the Buddha's blessings.
The director of the temple hosted a ceremony and all the Dharma masters wore masks and kept a distance to pray to the Buddha.
We offer the flower to the Buddha and pray for peace and health for all living beings and a world free of disasters.
Here at another temple, it's also the first time to host the Buddha Day ceremony in Tzu Chi's manner. Through the internet, everyone can feel the solemnness of the venue.
This year, due to the epidemic, we can only host the ceremony at our temple. When we saw Tzu Chi's solemn ceremony through the internet, we felt like we also participated in the process, and we prayed that the whole world can be free of disasters.
Here in the village, Tzu Chi volunteer Wu Santian invited the villagers to join the ceremony. Although the equipment was limited, the 59 villagers were still filled with Dharma joy, participating in the event using 4 cell phones.
This year's ceremony was special because we live-streamed with Taiwan and prayed together. This epidemic was caused by humans, so we invited the villagers and Tzu Chi volunteers to pray together for the disasters to go away.
On top of these 3 venues, many volunteers also joined the ceremony online at home. Everyone shared the same goal for a world free of disasters.
In South Africa, due to the nationwide lockdown, many families are facing difficulties. City volunteers in Johannesburg have been delivering daily supplies to families in need. A variety of daily supplies have been moved from the warehouse to the packing area. Tzu Chi South Africa chapter continues to help impoverished families during the epidemic. Starting from end of April for 3 weeks, volunteers have packed 8,000 sets of daily supplies with limited manpower.
The more I packed, the more I learned. I gradually saw that after I packed the supplies and sent them out, they sent back pictures. When I saw the pictures, I realized in this world, a lot of people need these daily supplies. We are packing every week now. Every week, we pack thousands and thousands of supplies. I've realized that our work is very meaningful.
At the daily supply packing area, the soap cutting area is the most special. Due to the government's lockdown, the soap factory did not have time to cut the soap, and the consumers have to cut them.
When I ran an iron factory before and was in a hurry to send out the products, the factory owner only had one thought, that is, to do the job well and fast.
To cut more than 10,000 rolls of soap, volunteers had to be creative. They first used box cutter, then they tried using saw, finally they switched to using wire saw.
Before we cut it piece by piece, now we cut 6 of them at once. The speed has been speeded up 6 times.
While some of the packed supplies are placed in a warehouse, some of them delivered to the community to be given to disadvantaged families. The last day of packing was also the 3-in-1 Tzu Chi Day. Volunteers seized the occasion to pay respect to the Buddha.
Today happens to be Mother's Day, Buddha Day, and Global Tzu Chi Day. We maintain social distancing and piously pay our respect to the Buddha.
All the daily supplies come with the volunteers' best wishes. They hope the families in need can feel the love and care during this critical time. Before the Buddha Day ceremony, many city volunteers in New Taipei City had been asked by neighbors or friends where they could attend the ceremony. The volunteers informed them about the online ceremony. A borrower had lent his office as a site for the ceremony. A recycling station in Tuchen, New Taipei City, decorated a large classroom as a site. At every of these sites, there were less than 100 people attending the ceremony, and they all followed the same social distancing rule.
They raise their heads to repent and lower their heads to show gratitude. Tzu Chi volunteers in Shuri, New Taipei City, hold a Buddha Day ceremony at their DaAi vegetable farm and decorated the site with local plants.
We have squashes, beans, eggplants, cucumbers, and flowers. We use their shapes to decorate a place like a big Buddhist ceremony, so people who come hiking can also sense the serene beauty of Buddhism.
Zhang Xiuli, who owns this farm, also hopes anyone who comes to this place is able to seek peace for their minds in the ceremony.
I myself was like walking a dream, and when I saw this group, I felt this place was very special, and I enjoy it very much.
My husband passed away recently, so when I was at home alone, I would feel very sad. Then I thought I could use a special event like the Buddha Day ceremony to bless my husband to do cultivation with Buddhas.
After quickly collecting all the recyclables, recycling volunteers in Xinpu Yuming Recycling Station gather at the borough's head's office.
Because of the epidemic, we have to keep a distance from each other, but I feel our hearts remain as close as ever.
I want to thank Tzu Chi for their many contributions in the borough, especially to the seniors and keeping the environment clean. They have done a lot.
One Tzu Chi volunteer uses a meeting room in his car repair shop to fulfill everyone's wishes.
We hold a small-scale ceremony in communities so we don't disappoint our donating members because they always look forward to the Buddha Day ceremony every year.
In the past, tens of thousands were in the same place attending the ceremony, but this year they do it online, but their joy remained the same.
We hold the ceremony in a classroom at the Tzu Chi Recycling Station. The atmosphere is very good and wonderful.
Recycling volunteers protect the earth with their hands. The words on brother Li Xunde's T-shirt remind people to watch DaAi TV programs broadcast around the world.
This year's Buddha Day ceremony in Taoyuan was scattered in different locations. For some older people who couldn't make it out, they turned to the internet to participate in the ceremony online. For some older Dharma family who aren't familiar with a computer, volunteers paid house calls to help them show respect to the Buddha.
Taoyuan's Jingsa Hall Buddha Day ceremony is being held indoors as it complies with the social distancing regulations. 95 people participate in 2 sessions. Although it was inconvenient for Chen Baoshu to travel and participate, she still didn't want to miss this rare opportunity to celebrate Buddha Day.
I had spinal surgery 3 times. I also had surgery on my hips, so it's also weak. I can't stand for a long time, but I still wanted to come to the Buddha Day ceremony. I thought that coming here instead of celebrating at home would make the blessings more powerful for everyone.
This year, there are fewer people participating in the Buddha Day ceremony, but it was still important to control entrance at the venue, which needed close attention. Yang Yuxin, who has just been certified, is here with her parents who want to pass on this experience.
If you learn, you will grow. If you don't do things, you won't get experience. So we want to grow and share this experience with our daughter.
The Buddha Day ceremony in Zhongli grounds also involved less than 100 people. Unlike past years, this year, volunteers who typically work the event could relax and enjoy the event themselves, taking the opportunity to feel calm and repent.
This year, because we control the number of participants, we can listen more intently. I think this is a benefit this year, as we can have a more pure heart and truly understand what is meant by the Buddha Day ceremony.
At the Yong'an Liaison Office, there were many volunteers and their parents who attended the 3-in-1 event together.
Today is Mother's Day, and I said I will accompany my mother in whatever she wants to do.
I said, don't need any gifts for Mother's Day. I just want you to accompany me to Buddha Day. So this year, she specially arranged her work schedule and asked me, Mom, what are you going to do on Sunday? She said she would join me whatever I went. So I'm very touched by this.
In addition to liaison offices, there is also a solemn event at the Fuxing recycling station. Old bodhisattvas usually do recycling, and at this moment they respect each other and pray sincerely.
I came here for the first time. I was also very happy. I started to sing and felt the master's blessings gave me goosebumps all over my body.
Some elderly people are not likely to use 3C products and because of poor health may not have been able to participate in the event in person. For this reason, volunteers went to their homes and set up an online connection, allowing them to participate in the Buddha Day ceremony.
Looking back upon the pandemic, nurses were usually the ones working on the front lines, taking care of patients and assisting doctors. A nurse at Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital, Huang Wandi, accompanied patients throughout their quarantine and treatment. Let's take a look at her experience. Putting on isolation gown and entering the hospital ward, this medical professional still has worry during this critical time.
I only told my husband about it. Other family, including my parents, did not know about this. When I had sore throat or felt uncomfortable, I started to think a lot. I am also very surprised. As I encountered this, I can only face reality. The master said that we should just do what is right.
Facing pressure, Huang deals with difficulties directly. The way she adjusts her emotions is by doing some artwork.
They are very bored staying inside. We thought that since we have got lunch bags, we should not waste the paper bag. We drew pictures on it to encourage them.
She drew cartoon characters on the paper bags, which became artwork.
I look at the feeling I get from this patient and then I draw about her hairstyle.
The hand-drawn paper bags are popular. Then the nurses had a new idea. They made snack flowers to celebrate birthdays and the day when patients are discharged.
I can feel their joy. As you go in there, his smile and facial expression are completely different. 10 and 20 years later, when I talk with my family and children, I can confidently tell them I've taken part in fighting the pandemic and I did pretty well.
With the patient's gratitude and the family's support, the nurse is able to persevere working at the front lines, safeguarding patients' health. Medical personnel is fighting a pandemic on the front lines. To thank them, DaAi Technology has provided the medical staff of Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital with 500 protective goggles. DaAi Technology is providing the medical personnel with protective goggles. They want to thank the medical staff for safeguarding the residents' health.
We appreciate the medical staff at Tzu Chi Hospital. The goggles can block bacteria. It shows our respect and love for the medical personnel.
Besides the lens, the goggle frame is made with recycled PET bottles. It is environmentally friendly and also practical.
DaAi Technology is the technology with compassion. They love the earth and also us. Today, they not only brought us protective gear, but also their care and love. I'm very grateful.
The goggles are lighter and permeable than the old ones. The frontline medical staff find them very comfortable to wear.
They are lighter. They won't press down on our nose and ears. When we wear masks, there is usually vapor, but the goggles don't have any of it.
DaAi Technology continues to develop medical-level protective gear, combining environmental protection and medicine. Today, we introduce you to 63-year-old Chen Hongming. He has 26 children and is a foster dad. He started adopting children with his wife more than 20 years ago. Chen says that his love will continue to make up for what these children lack.
63-year-old Chen Hongming, who works as a security guard, says he looks forward to this moment every day. A big hug instantly eliminates the fatigue of his whole day. This third-grade elementary school student is Yiting, Chen Hongming's 25th child. There's also 2-year-old Tong Tong, his 26th child. Chen Hongming isn't coming to child rearing at an old age. Instead, he's a foster father. Over the past 22 years, him and his wife have adopted a total of 24 children, each of whom has a heart and body. They still remember their first foster child.
I adopted this child not because I'm missing a daughter. I adopted her not because I thought it would be difficult for her to live in an orphanage.
When he retired from the military, he helped his wife cook 3 meals for the family. For him, the hard work of parenting is not hard work at all.
When my child was born, he carried off the children and really treasured them, as he really likes to play with children.
I have enjoyed being with children ever since I was young. I like children very much, and it makes me feel very lively.
The person entering the home is Chen Hongming's natural son. He also felt the warmth and lively nature of the family home since childhood.
In the 5th grade of the elementary school, we got another young child to play with.
What did I learn? I learned share what I could to the best of my ability and then help others.
While there may be no blood relationship, they all get along as close as a natural family.
I feel very happy to see children so relaxed and happy. This made our mood better, even though it isn't easy. Children call us mom and dad. We feel happy, and we can also say that this society gives them love. In this way, society is more complete, as there is a way to take care of the weak.
Over the years, Chen Hongming's love for all of his children has not been interrupted, as he cares for the young and looks forward to the time when they can grow strong and independent.
As the epidemic has been contained in Taiwan, the senior care station in Yuanling, Changhua has reopened. The grandpas and grandmas were excited to see each other after a 3-month break. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.